SWAT has asked for the people's help to reduce crime.
Possible misconduct in the highest rank of the BCSO.
Bomb threat at the Mission Row PD. Good afternoon and welcome to this week's review, where we look at the biggest headlines of the past week.
With your hosts, me, Mike Dean,
And Michael Bobby.
the SWAT Joint Task Force have recently asked the public. They have set up a non-emergency line at 111, where you anonymously give the police information about recent crimes. We went on the streets to find out what the people of Blaine County's thoughts were on the recent attacks. The owner of the 24/7 says, "I'm very nervous. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope our law enforcement will do a good job." A deputy of the LSSO had this to say when asked, should the people of BC be terrified? Not terrified, but a little bit scared, for our safety. He was then told to stop talking to us by the lead of the investigation, Cal-X.
Weazel News has recently been in contact with the sheriff of the Blaine County Sheriff's Office regarding a passenger of a vehicle claiming he was falsely arrested at a traffic stop for failure to identify. The passenger means he should not have to identify as he was not driving the vehicle at the time of the traffic stop.
We contacted the sheriff of the BCSO, which was the initiating officer on the scene, and asked for a comment on the matter. He responded with the following statement via email. Learn basic case law. An officer can ask for a passenger's ID, and they have to give it. The sheriff has, at multiple occasions, had a complete lack of professionalism, and did at one point tell us to not investigate the matter. Upon confronting the sheriff about his professionalism, he responded with, "No, it's aggravating. If you don't know what is happening, then don't get involved."
After this, we decided to do some legal work of our own, but keep in mind we are not educated lawyers and you should always contact a professional lawyer before going to courts. We found that in the U.S. Court of Appeals case Stuffle B&B Harris, the court concluded that if the officer has no reason to contact the passenger regarding any sort of investigation, the passenger is not required to provide identification. We once again asked the sheriff about a statement regarding this, and he then responded with the following, and I quote, "Oh, they were also on the scene of a warrant being served, and the passenger was, quote, interfering with a scene, and finally that the passenger was, quote, rummaging around in the vehicle." We found it peculiar that this was suddenly brought up a long time after the first request for comment from the officer, so we went out and talked to some of his colleagues.
An officer that has decided to stay anonymous stated the following. While I remember a couple of months ago, where some officers tried to discredit the press after some major incidents with the department, although I believe those members are now gone. After some digging, we found the officers he was referring to be the prior sheriff and some of his watch command, which all left after cases of corruption. We also found out that these members were the ones in charge at the time of the current sheriff's training and climbed through the ranks. So maybe this is something that sticks from those times.
On Saturday last week, a bomb threat was called in to 911 at around 1 a.m. The SWAT Joint Task Force responded and later held this press conference.
So this press has been called due to an incident that happened yesterday. We've had a high amount of pressure from the press to release a statement regarding that and on any ongoing situations. I'll give my press release and then it'll be open to questions from the press.
In addition to this, conspiracy theories are spreading that the BCSO was behind the bombing, although there is currently not any evidence of this. In any case, that is it for this week's review. We hope to see you again soon. If you want to tip us on our next case, please contact Weazel News. I've been your host, Michael Bobby.
And I've been Michael Dean. Good night.
Good night.
Hello once again. Isn't it nice having connections within government agencies? Now we can dismantle the government from the inside and out. Be careful who your friends are, I suppose. They may just turn against you right under your nose. The Society